Nothing can substitute The Witcher, but some titles can ease your urge for a similar game. So let's start with Horizon Zero Dawn. I often call this game a Witcher for little girls, because it has really similar battle mechanics, open world full of monsters, many dialogues, third-person view and so on. But there you will not find any gore, twisted creepy quests, splattering blood fountains or boobs. Yeah, no boobs is a huge disappointment. And not only because boobs are a good thing in general to show, it rather just means that the game is meant for the younger audience and will not be as good as you would expect it to be, because products meant for children are in general not as good as products meant for adults. Despite that fact, game is great and it is hard. You can easily compare it to Dark Souls. I have died so many times in this game that I've lost count long time ago. If a bit childish setting of allegedly serious story is not what you're afraid of, grab this game without any doubts. Sadly, Horizon Zero Dawn is exclusively for PlayStation 4 only. Kingdom Come: Deliverance. If you liked not only Witcher but also a Skyrim, Kingdom Come: Deliverance is the key game for you to play. Well, you will not find any fantasy stuff here. Game is realistic and is set in medieval Europe, but story and quests are great. World is truly beautiful and annoying bugs are almost gone. Game has really cool curve of learning and getting better all the time. At the beginning you will be beaten by a random town drunk, and after you spend, let's say, 80 hours in game, you can almost kill a small army only by blinking. Well, metaphorically, because you'll have to use your sword anyway. Game has no spells, no fantasy elements, just realistic medieval awesomeness. Gothic series. These RPG games are a bit outdated, but still enjoyable, especially if you use mods and make them beautiful again. Check the forums or even the same Nexus Mods website for additional content. You will find a lot of great things. Imagine the situation when you have an old dog who can't walk no more, and then you buy him robot legs so he could. So it's the same with Gothic games, an old titles, but with new looks, they still can roll over and be a good boy. You have a sword and you can swing it with great power and pleasure. Enemies are sliced like butter and your satisfaction is getting higher and higher with every adversary slain. This is a great game for Witcher fans because it has so much similar mechanics and it is as much entertaining. This is a darker take on a Star Wars. Here you will live in a story set between the prequel trilogy of films and Episode 4, A New Hope, after the Sith has enacted Order 66 and turned the Republic's clone army against the Jedi. If you concentrate on main story missions, this is about 20-hour adventure set across a cluster of Warriors-themed planets. Game gives us many places to explore, many characters to encounter, and a lot of living stuff to slash with your fancy lightsaber moves.
Ah! Run for it!
Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Inquisition. Have you ever played Mass Effect? Some call this game Fantasy Mass Effect, and there is a reason for that. The entire structure of a game is a bit different than in Witcher, where you go everywhere alone and slice your adversaries to pieces. Here you have a team of heroes and you can control all of them. Games are plot-driven, have deep and interesting storylines, great characters, and they will provide you with many hours of fun. Is it worth trying? If you like Mass Effect and Witcher, these games are definitely for you. If not, yes, I still recommend. Great games.
Will be supported in combat by a party of unique and amazing allies. From the mighty Iron Bull to the powerful mage Vivienne, each brings a specialized mix of abilities and weaponry to the battlefield.
Dark Souls Trilogy. If you played Witcher on easy or normal settings, these games are probably not for you, because Dark Souls are extremely hard.
That's what she said.
Oh, shut up. Okay, you probably knew that already. Games are well known, and you'll have to live under a rock in the bottom of the ocean to miss them out. Dark Souls are not traditional RPGs, but it has a lot in common with Witcher, especially combat itself. If you are a hardcore player and combat was one of the main things why you enjoyed Witcher game, then at least try Dark Souls. You will enjoy dying over and over again. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. The best thing about playing Middle-earth games is that they make you feel overpowered without sacrificing the fear of defeat. Games have great free-flowing combat and huge epic-looking open world full of Lord of the Rings lore to find, but what makes it special is what's going on in the background, an intriguing hierarchy of enemies that gives every victory and defeat extra meaning. I'm talking about exceptional nemesis system that makes almost every encounter with a named enemy a memorable battle. You can use direct melee combat, ranged attacks, stealth-based moves, and even turn your enemies against each other. And you also can collect orcs and send them to battles. Yes, just don't get too attached to any of them. They tend to die a lot, even if their opponent is weaker. Dragon's Dogma. This is a massive, challenging action RPG that drops players into a vast, open world full of different creatures. You play as a hero who has their heart stolen by a dragon, and you spend your time by trying to take it back. So, you're some kind of a freak who can live without a heart, a weirdo. Better go to a doctor immediately. Anyway, Dragon's Dogma shares its open nature with Witcher and has somewhat similar fighting mechanics. It's a tough game. I should probably say that here death will be your friend way more often than you would like to. Anyway, if you like to explore open world and love fantasy games, it may be a game for you. Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning. Here you will find more than 20 abilities in each class. You can upgrade them and enhance your character to create perfect warrior or mage. Every action you do will have consequences in the end, so play carefully. It is a great game with great graphics. Honestly, it's probably one of the best RPGs ever made. Sadly, it wasn't very popular when it launched. Usually it would mean a bankrupt of company, but this time it was way more serious. You see, the state of Rhode Island lit an astonishing $75 million to fund the project. You know what happened? They managed to claw back only $4.5 million, and by this, whole state of Rhode Island almost went bankrupt. About 1 million people live in there, so you can imagine that every citizen, every single one of them, lost about $7 from this deal. Risen 3. Goblins and gnomes are fighting for supremacy on the Isle of Thieves, and you have to rise against the titans and regain your soul. Oh dear, another game where you have something stolen from you. Just go to the police, man, file the report, let professionals do their work and relax. No? Not your style? Okay, you can grab newest edition of the game, which is Enhanced Edition, and enjoy beautiful graphics, kill weird monsters, and collect amazing loot. Although people are talking that previous parts are better than this one, so you can start with them if you're not afraid of a bit older graphics.
Seamlessly finish them off with a sword. The dynamic interplay between spells and steel adds new depth to combat.
Elex: This is a handcrafted action role-playing game from the creators of Gothic series, set in a brand new post-apocalyptic science fantasy universe that puts you in a huge seamless game world full of original characters, mutated creatures, and deep moral choices. Here you will find truly open world without any borders and loading zones. Also here you can use jetpack to explore any place above the ground. I should mention that the game is really hard at the beginning, but later if you manage to live long enough, you will love it. The world exploration part is awesome. It will bring you lots of fun. Do not buy it if you're looking for post-apocalyptic Gothic game. It's nothing like that. Combat feels more like Dark Souls or Witcher. Also, AI is very weak. Some monsters will ignore you, some will act weird. Well, that kills the mood a bit, but in general, Elex is a great game.
Guter Kampf.
Two Worlds 2. The world is ruled by a Dark Lord, extremely fond of conducting experiments involving black magic. He drains his power from the soul of your sister. Being gradually deprived of her energy, she is getting weaker each day. You are unable to rescue her anymore, because the last attempt was unsuccessful and you are locked in the dungeon. When all hope is lost, a group of orcs attack the prison and rescue you, offering an alliance on the spot. This is how story begins. Here you will have to explore many kinds of new environments, such as tropical jungles or hot savannas inhabited by new species of rhinos or ostriches. The game also features reptiles and many other wild fauna. Apart from exploring the game world on foot, you can also go by horse or a boat. Teleports can be used as well. Game is considered as okay-ish. It has some issues, but none of them are game-breaking, so try it without fear. The Elder Scrolls franchise. I should mention that I'm talking about Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. Huge open-world games you probably heard about and probably even played. But if you're lucky enough and have never played any of those, you should. In fact, you must. From which part to begin, you may ask? I don't know. It differs on what you want and what your take on older graphics are. If you're not afraid of older graphics and non-voice dialogues where you have to read everything by yourself, start with Morrowind. Then continue with Oblivion, and finally conquer the Skyrim. But if you care about those things and you like exceptionally modern games, just grab Skyrim Special Edition. Story-wise, you'll miss nothing. Skyrim is set in a different region 200 years after the events of Oblivion game. Just play Skyrim without any regrets and you'll be fine. And keep an eye on Project Skywind. Some dude decided to redo Morrowind in Skyrim's engine, and the result is really amazing. Sadly, there is no release date set yet, and in my humble opinion, there is a slight chance that we can never ever get our slimy Argonian hands on Skywind. Just because when you are the only one who has the game, why release it for free? Just play the game in YouTube, get mountains of views and add revenue, and you'll be good. That is logical approach, but also very evil. So I hope that developers have a good heart and they will share Skywind with the public when time will come. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Of all Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey and maybe also Origins is the most Witcher-like. I'm not saying that they are the best or anything like that, only that they fit well in this list, keeping in mind that the Odyssey isn't realistic and among your enemies are various monsters and mythological beasts from legends, like Medusa in example. It really has some witchery vibes. Here you will also have weapons with supernatural abilities like increased strength or the ability to instantly knock out an opponent's shield. I don't think I should tell you something more about Assassin's Creed. There are plenty of them, and if you are not living under the rock in the bottom of the ocean, you know what they are and how they work. Bound by Flame. This is a heroic fantasy RPG that has you playing as a mercenary possessed by a demon. In the grasp of a demon, you must choose between the demonic power within you and your humanity. Should you choose the latter, you must repel the demonic influence and develop truly heroic skills. As dangers and enemies close down on you, always more fearsome and terrifying, you will be tempted to yield a bit more of your soul to the demon that possesses you in order to gain more power. And as the demon gains more of your soul, your physical transformation becomes more obvious. Depending on your choices and the grasp of a demon, the chapters offer different experiences, quests, and scenarios. The real-time battles are both dynamic and impressive. If you start your adventure by mastering the basics of combat, assassination, and eventually fire magic, you can later specialize by unlocking and improving many skills that you will use in each of the 3 talent trees. Title has some annoying bugs and quite terrible voice acting, but in general it's an okay game to try. Divinity II Developer's Cut. Here you can climb high and vaporize all that stands in your way, as you strategically use both your human and dragon forms to defeat the enemy and become the ultimate Dragon Knight. Developer's Cut includes the Ultimate Edition of Divinity II, good for 100+ hours of gameplay, as well as brand new developer mode, where you can play as any creature you like. Game has very positive reviews on Steam and despite its age is still very fun to play. And now it's the time for you to subscribe, or I'll go back in time and seduce your mother so you will never be born. Do it now. And press that like button. My name is Coldbeer and I'll see you next time. Bye.